Welcome back to the DreamState Livin podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Trihubzak. Today's episode is very exciting. I'm going to be going through stories about how I left my hometown and why that was massive for my life and my growth. DreamState Livin podcast is about bringing people on and talking about stories, how we can connect you to your dharma, your purpose. Why are you here? All right, guys, if you want to skip the meditation, skip to about the 9-minute mark. Look forward to seeing you there. All right, let's get started. We are going to get started with our breathwork gratitude meditation today to begin things off. So let's first off do 3 rounds of breath of fire. So quick out through the nose, just like so. 3, 2, 1. Next round in 3, 2, 1. Hold it at the top. Release. In 3, 2, 1. Final round. Now you can go ahead and put your hands on your heart, or you can just keep them on your lap, or however you're doing. All is fine. And let's just think of something that we're grateful for. Don't force it. I'm grateful for just being this age at this time in history. Like, it's a pretty cool thing to recognize. Could have been the 1920s right now. It could have been dinosaur era. Just a pretty cool opportunity we live in now. So now let's transition to something else. Maybe you're grateful for a memory when you were younger with your family, your parents, or your first lover. Really relive that experience. How did it make you feel? See the smile on your face. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's move into the third thing. Maybe you're grateful that you just had some time in your day to listen in here to this podcast today and spend some time for yourself in the beginning here. Show some self-love. Maybe you're grateful for your physical body that can get you from point A to point B. You did a workout today. It's just like, how cool is it that you're able to do that? You have eyes to see, hopefully, nose to smell, ears to hear, mouth to taste. Wow. How we let's put your hands back on your lap. And we see through meditation that classic pose where the gurus have their hands like this. If you can see, when I was living with the monks in Thailand, they said close your left hand and put your right hand around it, almost like you're holding it. And I find a lot of comfort within that pose. So you usually see me doing that pose. But nothing is wrong. Do what you want to do. Today I'm sitting in a chair. Maybe you are too. Maybe you're driving and you listen to this. Hopefully your eyes are open. Let's just focus on the breath. Today's mantra is Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. Sat Chit Ananda. Focus on the mantra and your breath. If there's any noises in your environment, don't attach to them. See noises or thoughts like clouds. If you were laying in the grass and you were watching the clouds, you don't attach to one cloud and chase after it. You just let it pass by. And you just observe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back. It's 2013. I'm smoking a fat blunt and I'm running 30 minutes late to my high school graduation. Why? Because my buddy's loud ass Honda Civic got pulled over. Even now, I have dreams about not graduating. Probably because I barely made it through high school. You could say I talked or sold my way through high school. I was an athlete, hockey, football, lacrosse, you name it. I was also the unofficial captain of the pot smoking team. If you looked at my friends and me back then, you'd probably think, yeah, these kids are going nowhere. They're probably peaking in high school. I'll never forget that day, walking across the stage, standing among my fellow graduates. I couldn't help but wonder, what the fuck now? After the ceremony, my then girlfriend, beautiful and admittedly a bit wild, hugged me for a photo. And in that moment, all I could think was, what the hell am I going to do with my life? College didn't seem like the right path. I then blamed my lack of focus on doctor prescribed ADHD. And I knew I wasn't cut out for traditional academics. I'd spent most of my high school experience hustling, talking my way through situations and making things work on my terms. As an athlete, I wasn't bad. I led the state in points for D3 lacrosse. It was enough to land me offers from Emerson and Dean College to join their program. But deep down, I knew grinding away as a D3 athlete while earning a criminal justice degree wasn't my dream. It might have been fun, but it wasn't for me. So I opted for community college that lasted about 2 semesters. Guys, that was a quick excerpt from a book I'm writing that I wanted to share with you. And it's a good place to start today because today's whole talk is going to be about how getting out of your hometown is crucial for growth. So that was kind of the start, was graduation day, where I was just like, holy shit, I'm with this girl that I knew I probably needed to get out of this relationship. My friends, although I love them, I just knew like, hey, not much going on here. They're also not going to college at the time. We're like, oh, college is probably the route. I knew deep down, I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. And fortunately, I was right from my experience. But so many of us find ourselves in that time and we're just sold by society. Okay, next step is just go to college. So you go to college for 4 years, and most people after that move back to their hometown. And it's just like, oh, yeah, we got this degree, and now society says that we're an expert in some area. So you go back to your hometown, and now because society says you're an expert in some area, you usually stop learning too. Meet the same friends at the same bar for the next rest of your life, really what it is. And that sounded awful for me. I mean, how many of you now are also like, man, I'm in my hometown. I have been doing the same thing with the same people for years. We're going to go through some things later on why that is preventing you from your growth. But through these stories, I want to kind of show you how I did get out of my hometown and why it got me to where I am today. Because it needs to be like a little bit of a spark. A lot of times, I was reading Robert O'Neill's book, who's the man who killed Osama bin Laden. He was talking about most people in the Navy left because of a breakup or a hard relationship, right? And sometimes that's what happens. It needs to be something detrimental. It's like, oh man, I can't see her again. We were together for 4 years. I'm heartbroken. I got to get out of town. So, okay, let me move out west. And then when you're out west, you're just like, holy shit, this is a whole new world. No one knows who I am. So I can recreate. I don't have expectations of those around me. I can recreate my identity. And maybe that recreation, you fall into other groups out there, but maybe it's exactly what you needed at that moment. And it's never too late. It's never too late. Maybe you're listening right now and you're like, oh, dude, I'm 30. I've been in my hometown my whole life. I'm good. I got kids. We go see the same, friends all the time. We got our core group. We got family out here. And maybe you're happy with your life. That's great. That's awesome. You have a family. That's success. You're happy with your life. That's success. I'm not knocking on that. What I'm knocking is that same person that is here, has family, has kids, or maybe doesn't has any of that, and just knows like I'm meant for more. That's who I'm talking to. If you know deep down, it's like, I'm meant for more. I just know like I'm just scratching the surface with my potential here. Moving out of your hometown will be the breaking the ground. It'll be breaking the turf for you to get into those new environments, and you can start discovering and unleashing your potential and finding your dharma is what we talk about so often. You'll find throughout this podcast, which is the goal. Dharma is your purpose. And staying in your hometown is just like having your hands behind your back. You have all these expectations of who you were in high school, who you were growing up, and God bless your family. God bless my family. They tend to expect you to be someone that is not breaking through and unleashed and reaching massive goals because it's scary. It's scary to do that. And they are unknowingly very protective of you, and they don't want to see you fail, which is extremely crucial for success. Failure, and to ask anybody that's ever achieved anything, you need to fail forward, fail fast. It was a quote I heard when I was younger, and I thought I was like, oh, all right, fail fast, fail forward, okay, try this, fail. And your peers around you will start to be a little bit judgmental. Even your family, it's like, oh, why don't you just get like a good 9 to 5 with good benefits? Can't stand that word. Whenever someone's like, oh, this job has good benefits. Oh God. Good benefits. That's how they get you. That's how they tie you in. Oh, I got good health care, right? Why don't you just live a healthy life? You won't need health care. I get it. Health care is important. You never know what's going to happen. And jobs that have good health care, it's good. But these jobs trap you into getting there because, oh, you got a good 401k with this one, good health care. Why don't you just go find your purpose? Be happy as hell doing it. And I guarantee when you find your purpose, you find your dharma, you connect to it, you'll make more money than you knew was ever possible. So at that early stage, I just graduated high school and I was just like, man, I I know like there's more for me. I had that inclination. So if you're with me on that, keep listening. And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment here if you've made it to this 16-minute mark. So happy you're here. And I look forward to bringing more value throughout these, but it helps the channel in our early stages now. So just please like, subscribe, comment your thoughts as we keep going here. All right. Grown up, my family never dined at places like Ruth's Chris. The idea of a fancy restaurant was completely foreign to me. But my brother Jake had just landed a job as a waiter at a Ruth's Chris in the city. I thought he was amazing for it. He managed to get me an interview as a food runner, and I got the job. That was the beginning of something I didn't expect. I fell in love with the fast paced, high stakes environment of fine dining. Customers were paying $100 a head, and every dish had to be perfect and on time. I dove in headfirst. Learning everything I could about the restaurant business, I made it my mission to become the best food runner Ruth's Chris had ever seen, and I did just that. One hot summer, an opportunity came to work in the Boston location for what they called Restaurant Week. I signed up immediately. This was my chance to prove myself in a bigger city. I love the energy of Boston. The people visiting from all over the world, the thrill of serving them, and the camaraderie of the team. The Boston crew was unforgettable. There was Tom, the older stud, who took me under his wing and introduced me to nightlife at the time. And then there was Chroma, the African beast, I call him, who shared stories of his journey coming to America. Every shift was a new adventure, and the job opened my mind to a world I hadn't seen before. While my friends were spending their college years partying and drinking, I was learning the ins and outs of the city life and meeting people from every corner of the globe. I became addicted to the hustle. It wasn't about the money, although I loved taking extra tables and making good tips. For me, it was about doing exceptional work, earning recognition, and thriving in an environment where every effort mattered. This is where my always offer your best motto was born. Some days I worked from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. covering lunch and dinner shifts. I'd spend my tips at the bar that night, only to wake up the next morning and laugh with my coworkers about the night before. Ruth's Chris Boston gave me something I'll never forget, the experience of stepping out of my home state and into a world of opportunity. I'm going to keep going, but before so, I wanted to touch on a few things here. This initial opportunity in Boston was like a seed being planted into me, where it's just like, whoa, what? There's people from all over the country that have moved to Boston, this city. They're working at this restaurant, and they came here for more opportunity because Boston's an amazing city. There was the guy Chrome I told you about that was from Africa, and he came here, and they had to recreate their lifestyle. They had to adapt into Boston, and I love that. I love the fast pace. I love the ability where it's just like, hey, like, you guys want to go out after tonight? And it's just like, yeah, I would love to. And we, in our hometowns, we get so caught up of always having plans, right? It's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I can't join you guys tonight. I got plans with my high school buddies. I got plans with this group. They invited me. Someone's always got a fucking birthday party or something going on, especially nowadays. There's always a baby shower, this or that, the other thing. And those things are great to be at through your life. But when you always have a packed schedule because you know somebody around you, it's like you're saying yes to all these things. And then when new opportunities come up, you're saying no to them. So when I was in Boston, I just kind of detached from Rhode Island and I was like, yeah, give it to me. What, what, what are we doing? Where are we rolling? I'm all in for it. And I got addicted to the being around these people that were a lot older than me and kind of seeing where they were at in their life right now. And it helps my maturity scale as well grow big. And when you do move out of your home state, your maturity scale really just rises really quick because you don't have mommy and daddy to go home to. You don't have everything that you know is always there. You don't have a couch to sleep on. Like you have to make shit work. And that is huge for your growth. Being able to be self sufficient is massive. So we're going to keep going here. At 21, I was no longer using my brother's IDs to get into bars. I was officially old enough to step into the real world. I landed a job at the prestigious Capitol Grill in downtown Providence, the city's premier steakhouse. With most servers averaging 45 years old, I was the young buck in the room. This opportunity came after being fired from Hemingway's for gaming their reward system to get free lunches. Lesson learned. It's hard to explain why you're eating steak and paella every day on break. But thanks to Mora, a senior server at Hemingway's with connections to Capitol Grill's GM Chris Phillips, I got my shot. Put on my best suit and walked into Capitol Grill at 3:30 p.m. Between lunch and dinner rushes, pro tip, never try to get a job, especially in the restaurant business, when they're busy. This dude's got no emotional intelligence. Why would I hire him? He just came in at the busy lunch hour. When I worked in the restaurant business and even other businesses that I was in, someone would come in full suit and it's just like, dude, we're so busy. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care what your resume is. So I walk in 3:30. It's slow. And I do my infamous, which this helped me a lot over the next few years. Hey, my name's Ethan Trihubzak. Chris Phillips is expecting me. I told the hostess. Spoiler, he was not expecting me. But the hostess didn't know that. I just walked in there and assumed the job, and I got the job on the spot. At Capitol Grill, I started making serious money for a 21-year-old. I had amazing mentors who took pride in helping me grow as a server. The real kicker for me was my energy. My energy set me apart. I had the stamina to take those late tables after a busy night. On big nights, I'd walk out with $400 to $500 in tips, but I wanted more. I noticed the older servers were crushing it with regular clients who tipped big. By the end of the night, most of them had already hit their goal and were ready to leave and go to the bar. So I made a point. I took all the late tables and I also offered to do their side work. And they paid me for it, obviously. Some nights I walked out with $800 to $1,000, combining late night tables and extra pay from the other servers. Over the next year, I broke 100K, six figures waiting tables. But as the saying goes, I went to bed with an itchy butt and woke up with a stinky finger. I had reached the peak of my growth as a waiter in Rhode Island, my hometown. While I respected my coworkers, I did not want to spend my life waiting tables. I could see firsthand how easy it was to get comfortable. Comfortable. Too many people are just so comfortable, and this is why they never go out and try something new. They never move somewhere else because of comfort. It's just like, oh yeah, Ethan, I would come live with you in Los Angeles, man, but I just got everything. Everything's comfortable here. Everything's good. I know where everything is. Through uncertainty, uncertainty is a basic human need, by the way. We need uncertainty. So through uncertainty is greatness on the other side of it. Once you step into uncertainty, you're like, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen here. And you start having faith in the universe that things are going to walk out. Wow. Beauty comes on the other side of uncertainty, but you have to be willing to go through pain. When I first moved to Los Angeles, it was challenging. I'm going to go through another brief story here in a second here. It was extremely challenging. When I was at Capitol Grill, I had that comfort, as you guys could see through that story. I was making a shit ton of money. I somewhat enjoyed what I was doing. Waiting tables isn't the funnest thing in the world, but it's nice when you get recognition. You're told you're good at what you do. People are like, wow, you're 21 years old. You sound like you're so mature for your age. And yeah, that feeds the ego. That feels really good. Also, at the time, I was dating a girl who was 30 that was going to Harvard. I was 21. I felt like King Tut. I felt amazing for my age. All my buddies were like bussers and food runners, and I was kind of like the stud waiter. And I just knew that I can't keep doing this. I actually thank the servers at Capitol Grill because they saw so much in me. And they also, some of them would say, you know, don't end up like me being here at 50 because I got comfortable. I've been doing this for 20 years. I got comfortable. I'd walk out of here with $1,000 some nights. I'd pay my bills. It was a relatively easy job. It doesn't require much mental effort. You can drink wine on the job. You have food. It gets too comfortable. And you watching this right now, you probably have a sense of comfort. So connect me at 21 working at the Capitol Grill, making six figures. I could have kept doing that for the next decade. It was about 9 years ago. I could have kept doing that for the next 9 years and maybe made a good Bitcoin play and would have been set. But personally, I would have not developed into the man that I am right now. I'd be a completely different person. Quit focusing on just the money. This is what so many people do. It's just like, yeah, but my job pays good. Yeah, but are you fucking happy? And are you coming in to a great person? I see so many people. They're working this job, they make good money, but they're drinking themselves to sleep all weekend. Thursday through Sunday, they drink themselves to sleep. I'm like, you think that's actually fun? No, you're so bored with life and upset with life that you need substances to bring excitement to your life every weekend. And then you wake up Monday and you're just all fucking hungover and you spend the next 4 days recovering until it's time to do it again. Sound like you? And I'm sorry to call you guys out like that, those who do that, but you're not happy. Listen, I've been there. I've been there. I've been there drinking the numbness away. And you're like, nah, dude, I'm not drinking the numbness away. Yeah. Why do you drink so much? We'll definitely dive into that more on another podcast, the drinking, because when I did get alcohol out of my life, wow, did the rocket ship keep going, because I was able to accomplish some amazing things while having alcohol in my life, but I still had a little bit of that addict in me. And alcohol just kind of made me like be okay with mediocrity. I was thinking about this today in the elevator. Funny how interesting thoughts come up in the elevator. You just got that mirror, you're staring at yourself, and just funny thoughts come up. So I'm in the elevator today and I'm like, wow, when I was drinking a lot, these thoughts that would come to my head, like, dude, you're good. You're in decent shape. Like, why do you need to just go chill? Dude, you're good. Just go have a Big Mac and fries. Like, you're good. It's not gonna throw off your diet too much, and those thoughts would always come up. I'm curious. Put in the comments right now if that happens to you and what thoughts come up. And do you want to keep those thoughts coming up? Genuinely curious on that. Was that just me, or does everyone else have those thoughts where it's just like alcohol brings out the mediocrity thoughts? But when you get rid of it out of your life, those thoughts do not come up often. And it's just like a continuous, you're able to commit more to your goals and stay true to them, which is amazing to see the realization, the actualization of your goals that you set out for. Let's keep going with the storytelling. It was time to move on. I felt it. But to what? Before I get going with this story, me and two of my close friends at the time, Brian Skorsky and Tom Collard, had taken a trip to Los Angeles about a year before I moved there. And I remember being in LA, and I was an East Coast guy. Like, we wore suit coats to go out on Friday night. LA was not like that. These dudes were wearing ripped shirts and we just stuck out like sore thumbs. East Coast accent. And I remember leaving LA. I'm like, this place is a shithole. My brother was in downtown LA. I didn't really like the people that much. I was like, I can't wait to get back to Rhode Island, to my comfortable city that I'm the king of. Year later, here we are. My brother John was living in Los Angeles at the time. My first visit to see him wasn't great. He was living in a rough part of downtown LA and I didn't have the best experience. But John eventually moved to Culver City, just a few miles from Venice Beach, and he raved about how much better life was there. He offered me a spot in his couch for $650 a month. The thing that really sold me was the few miles from Venice Beach. The idea of starting fresh in California grew on me. I informed my work, told my friends and family, and prepared to head west. Before I left, I got hit with a surprise: taxes. At Capitol Grill, we reported our tips every night, even if we underestimated, and I owed the IRS more than I expected. The payment wiped out my savings, leaving me with just $2K for the move. But I trusted things would work out. Looking back, I realized moments like these are tests, challenges from the universe or God or whatever you believe in, to see how serious you are about stepping into the unknown. If you decide to make a move for yourself, these tests are going to continuously show up in your life. If you've ever attempted something worthy, just know that these tests are they're tests. They're going to keep showing up. So I want you to install in your head, like, hey, there's tests. It's happened to everyone. It's the universe testing how serious I am for my goals. So with that knowing, just know that tests are gonna come up, man. Now when tests come up, I'm like, boom, let's go, baby. I'm freaking ready. And you start having an approach to things where it's just like, hey, you know what? Shit kind of hit the fan right now, but I trust everything's gonna work out. This comes from going through life with an adventurous mindset and stepping into the unknown. These tests show up and build character. You don't get much tests when you stay stuck in your hometown because things are just so expected of, right? It's like, oh, shit hit the fan. Hey, mom, shit really hit the fan. Can I come stay with you for a couple months? Just like you have that in the back of your head, you know, it's like, hey, if shit really hits the fan, like I can go somewhere. And maybe you're in a state right now, you're like, dude, shut up. I would never do that. I'm a grinder. I'll make it work in my hometown. Hey, I get it. I get it. But subconsciously, these things are still there. With my bags packed and my heart full, I said goodbye to New England. My family and friends threw me a proper going away party, a classic New England kegger at my dad's house with 100 of my closest and most random friends, followed by a golf tournament with my good man, Ben Gazier. Shout out, Ben. The next day after the festivities, my beautiful mom and I set out on a 5-day road trip from Rhode Island to LA. 1 hour into the drive, I realized I forgot my bike, so we turned back. Off to a great start. That road trip remains one of my favorite memories with my mom. We partied in Nashville, where I smoked weed with her for the first time, and she laughed hysterically while doing the backstroke in a hotel pool. It was a bittersweet moment because I knew I'd have to say goodbye to her soon. I wanted to touch on something here real quick. I was talking with my brother about this the other day because he was just like, don't you want to come back home and be around your family? And you might be thinking this as well. I could never leave my family. Right now, what's probably happening is you are you have so much unconscious competence with the lifestyle that you live right now that you're most likely not even that present when you're with your family. And when you do go out and you create your own life outside of what you're so accustomed to, and then you do come home, wow, I am so present when I'm with my family. I moved back for a year last year and I found myself being completely unpresent all the time because I was just like, I need to get out. I need to get out. I felt uncomfortable. I felt stuck. And we get used to those feelings and it leads us to being so unpresent in the moment. So you might be thinking, it's like, oh, I can never leave my family. It's the moments that we have with them that matter the most. And when you look at, I'm 30 years old right now. it's pretty challenging to think about, but I really probably only have like a couple, like, probably, it's hard to put this, I don't have much time left with my family. With that recognition, because I only see them 2 to 3 times a year, with that recognition, I am so present when I'm with them. And those moments, those memories that we create when we are together now are worth everything. And when I was back home, it's like, oh, hey, mom. And I'd be on my phone at her house. But now it's just like really, really here. And I see this with a lot of people. It's like they feel like they're doing their part just because they're around. But their physical body's here, but their mental is completely somewhere else. They're on their phone. They're not paying attention to anyone. They're not good company. Moving away will get you to be good company when you come back. So we cruised Route 66, ate steak in Kansas City, tacos in Albuquerque, and drove through the desert where my mother mistook a mirage for the ocean. After days of laughter, exploration, and unforgettable memories, we arrived in Culver City, California. My brother John and his roommate Carlos welcomed us with open arms. And just like that, a new chapter began. And when I got there, this is when things started to really like get uncomfortable. And through uncomfort is greatness on the other side of it. Because through those uncomfortable times, you're just like, holy shit, like I have to figure this out. I got there and I didn't have a job. I had $2,000 to my name. So I put on my best suit and I did my classic cold approach. I went to a Ruth's Chris in Beverly Hills. I was like, oh, I wonder where people spend money. I literally drove my car to Beverly Hills, walked in, got the job on the spot. And come 6 months later, my brother was dealing with some serious addictions that I didn't know of. And he had to go to rehab. So I went from paying $650 a month to $1,600 a month. Holy shit. Never paid $1,600 a month. I'm living in this place in Culver City with this dude I barely know. I had to figure shit out. And as time went on, as the need for survival clicked in, like things just started to work out because it's like, okay, I'm not gonna quit. I really can't quit. Uh, I wanted to. I wanted to move to Seattle actually, but I'm not gonna quit because I'm not gonna leave this dude Carlos, who was so good to my brother during some of my brother's hardest times in his life. I'm not gonna leave Carlos hanging with this by himself. So I gotta figure this shit out. Okay, what can I do? Well, Bruce Chris isn't doing it. I'm not making this $1,600 a month while also paying about $1,000 for my Acura TSX because I thought I needed a fancy car at that age. Okay, also need food, so looking at about $2,500 a month here. All right, need to get another job. So what did I do? My buddy Marco had a catering gig that he was working with at the time, and I got in with the catering gig. Also get in with another catering gig. So I'm working all the time. I'm taking on new jobs. In between this, I also was in an Uber ride, and the dude's like, "Dude, you got good energy. Where you from?" Like, "Oh, from the East Coast." Like, "Oh, the East Coast, dude, you guys are studs. You guys are the best. Hey, I'm in this. I'm with WFG, World Financial Group. You want to come to a meeting?" So while I got all this going on, I'm also working on getting my life insurance stuff because I went to a WFG meeting. Shout out to these guys because they know how to throw a damn meeting. Like absolute personal development masterclass. They're giving you all these recommendations on books. It's a good way to get you in. Now I ended up staying with the product because I didn't really like selling life insurance, just wasn't for me. But it was a really good experience for the time. So I'm trying all these new things. I'm testing things out. I'm starting to make enough money to pay my bills. I went many months just by the skin of my teeth, or whatever that saying is. I have another made up one, but it's a little inappropriate for this. Uh, so by the skin of my teeth, I'm getting by. Like some months, I finished the month, I had like $50. I'm like, oh, shit. Remember one time, someone somehow cashed a check of mine and stole like my last $650. I was like, oh God. So these type of things happen. I experienced some of the lowest lows of my life. It's important to go through those. It's so important to go through those lows because if you avoid them all the time, then
you're not even going to really appreciate your highs that much. And when the lows come up, you're not going to know what to do. Once you go through so many lows, now it's just like, oh, when a low comes up, I know what to do. Because we're all going to keep going through lows in life. It's going to happen. So what do you do when you deal with them? Well, these experiences build up that muscle, that character, that thick skin, so you can truly, truly get through them. So throughout this time, I'm working 3 jobs. I'm doing the WFG thing as well. It's at this point in my life, it's like my creative side of me really started to like boost too. And my time off, I'm like, what do I do? Before I would like go to bars with friends all the time. Don't get me wrong, I still did that. I enjoyed a lot of like in my 20s, a lot of nightlife in Los Angeles. I drank a lot at that time in my life. I went through some very challenging, very beautiful experiences. If you're going to dance with the devil, you might as well lead. And I definitely did that in that early stage of my life. And I don't regret any of it. I learned a lot from it. And maybe I wouldn't have so much uh, discipline and temperance now if I didn't go through all of that and enjoy that back then. Right? It's like Peterson talks about this. Jordan Peterson, he's like, when kids are younger, they need to have a little bit of rebellious in them. They need to go through these things and try things out because the kids that are just so perfect all the time, they're actually just cowards, is what he says. So going through these things and trying out these experiences was really really beautiful for me. But back to what we were talking about at this time, like I started to get so creative, and I was just like, you know what? I want to try my hand at acting. I want to try my hand at Hollywood. So I got into acting classes. I was golfing by myself. Another thing, when you're out and you're living somewhere by yourself, before I probably had a threesome with buddies, so a foursome, excuse me, all four of us would have went golfing. I was by myself, so I was meeting people all the time, business opportunities, relationships, friends, just through golf. I met this woman. I was like, I kind of want to try acting. She's like, let me give you a guy's number, Sal. He's from New York. And Sal, this guy was freaking awesome. And he had this acting class called the Actorhood. I joined the Actorhood for 3 years and I fell in love with that. Now, acting didn't really work out for me. As you can tell, I'm not a famous actor. But I was in some films. I was on sets. I'm famous in China. I was in a Chinese fitness commercial. Just kidding, not famous in China, but maybe I'm on billboards. Not sure, never been. But it was so amazing, the experiences and the people that you meet, because I'm out on my own. So I need to make relationships. So that was just beautiful. I wanted to touch on some people that actually we'll wait to get there. So I want to go through some things, some reasons of why moving out of your hometown, why this whole conversation we have today, why it's going to shape you into just an ubermensch, a superhuman. Your environment shapes you. So we all have heard the phrase, you become like the top 5 people you hang around with. Well, if you hang around with the same 5 people you've been hanging around with your whole life and everyone's kind of just like mid, it's like you're going to just stay there. You're not going to accomplish many things because they're going to pull you down, right? It's like, how many of you are in a friend group right now? It's like, oh, I'm going to go try out this new venture. Oh, here we go again. Here goes Ethan trying out something new. And they just expect you to fail. And what do you think that does for your confidence? If you stay in your hometown, you're likely to just stay in the same cycles. The people that we grow up with, to no fault of their own, have a lot of limiting beliefs. Our families have a lot of limiting beliefs. So most don't really think big. I thought big until I met people that actually think big. I was on a walk one time with a guy named, I completely forget his name. He was the CEO of this pretty large company. He was mentoring me at the time. Tim. Tim and I are on this walk in Los Angeles, downtown LA, and he's like, how much you pay for rent? Because I'm talking to him about how I want to get to the next level. I was like, oh, I pay like $2,200. Like, not enough. You got to get more uncomfortable. And at that point, I'm like, wow,
If I told somebody that I grew up with, I paid $2,200 rent, what the fuck? What the hell you do that for? Right? But this guy on the other end was just like, no, not enough. I pay 15 grand for a month. What do you think that does for me? Well, it makes me uncomfortable, makes me want to work more. And also the type of people that it puts me next to at this type of place that I'm paying 15 grand. Boom, complete mindset shift right there. Comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're looking to grow, to go through challenges, comfort is not going to be there, right? If you want to get an amazing body, it's going to be uncomfortable. So if you try and stay comfortable, which a lot of us do when we stay in our hometowns, it's comfortable. It is debilitating your ability to grow. So you have to understand that. When you're too comfortable, you stop pushing yourself. It's like what we talked about earlier a little bit with alcohol. It's like you get comfortable with alcohol and you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna just take it easy. I'm not gonna really try anything. I'm gonna go eat a Big Mac. I'll be good tomorrow. I'll get back to it. Right? So it happens when we're comfortable. It's like, I'll push that off. I'm good. I can pay my bills. I'll just push that off to another date. But when you're uncomfortable and you're like, damn, I need to make this work. I need to create these friend groups. I need to get into the right groups because otherwise I'm not going to hit my goals or I'm going to end up working somewhere I don't want to work. Through getting out of your hometown, you get exposure to new ideas and perspectives. Traveling or moving forces you to see the world in a different way. And it could be a beautiful way, and it might not be the way that you expect. I was in Southeast Asia, and there was this woman on the beach cooking pad thai. This woman was so freaking happy, so lit up with life, and she coffee beaned me in that moment. She changed how I think of things. So I'm like, man, whenever I'm like, oh, I need more of this, I need to be in a fancy car, I think back to Lynn. That was her name, and how happy she was for just cooking pad thai on the beach. She had her kids, she had her beautiful view, and she just was so happy and satisfied with life. In your hometown, you probably don't have that perspective. You probably have a lot of negativity. And traveling and relocating gives us such a beautiful perspective sometimes. Meeting people who challenge your beliefs. You know, it's just like that guy Tim I was telling you about, that CEO I was walking around downtown LA with. There's many other stories of people like that. Many other people in my life that have challenged just the way I think on things. And it doesn't always have to be money. It could be with service. Hey, why don't you serve more? It could be with your business that you want to start, a nonprofit. It's like you need to think bigger. You need to take more action now. And having people in your life that make you feel uncomfortable is crucial, is really amazing. It's why I started the Dream State Mastermind. If you want to get in that community, shoot me a DM. And we are, always opening up applications for the Sunday Mastermind and my one-on-one coaching. I'm also opening up. So having people that challenge the way you think and your perspective on things. It's like, I know I need to wake up earlier. Dude, why don't you just do it? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you need to, but you're not doing it? What type of voice is happening in the morning? If you need to do it, why aren't you fucking doing it? I think I want to add this. What do you mean think? It's either yes or no. It's either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. And this mindset was learned from being uncomfortable from other people. When you surround yourself with people that are achieving at a high level in new environments, you learn success habits firsthand versus habits that are not successful but are comfortable. Oh yeah, we got another kegger this weekend down at the boys' house, or it's just like, hey, I'm going to a business event. You want to go? It's like, nah, that sounds uncomfortable, but yes, let's do it. Okay. Do you have people in your life that are challenging to go to things like that? Because when you move out of your hometown, you create your reality. As Joe Dispenza says, your personality creates your personal reality. So if you want to change your personality, your life, your experiences, you have to change your personality. You have to change you. One of the best ways to do that is to change your environment. You can create your new personality that aligns with your ideal personal reality. Let's break down what's a personal reality.
Oh, well, a personality to me is I want to have a beautiful retreat in Colombia in the mountains that has a massive, massive gym, cold plunge sauna, has beautiful workers that are happy, indigenous people that are cooking all the food for us, has great place for masterminds and retreats. I also want to have a beautiful home in the Northeast that's close to my family that I can go there and spend some summers there if I want to. It's like, okay, what type of personality aligns with that personal reality? Let's work towards that because that's a pretty high achieved personal reality. It's going to take some development to get there. Understand? When you reinvent yourself, you're no longer divided by your past. In your hometown, people see you as the person you used to be. I remember last year when I moved back home for a year, people thought I was still that 21-year-old then. They thought I still wanted to go out and pound martinis and go to the bar all night because that's what they were still doing. And like, I remember one dude said to me, this made me cringe in my stomach. I almost got sick. He's like, "Oh, looks like the band's back together." I was like, "Oh, all the work I've done, all the work I've done. No, the band is not back together." And I felt bad because I love my friends. I love my friends, but I'm not falling back into that. I'm not going to let them bring you down because they want to bring you down. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, we got Ethan back in the group. Nope. Now you can show them the person you are. There's a story of a carrot, an egg, and a coffee bean in a pot of boiling water. You put the carrot in the pot of boiling water. This hard carrot just softens. You put the potato, same thing. This potato softens. You put the coffee bean. What happens? Well, the coffee bean changes the environment. It's the only thing that changes the environment. So be a coffee bean. When you get to your new environments, you go back home to see your friends. Don't let them bring you back to who you are. Be the environment. Don't let them change your habits. Stick to your habits. Be habitual. Show them it's like, hey, this is the person I developed into. And it's either they're going to stay or they're going to go. Or they're going to try and continue to bring you down. And you're going to push them out. Like, no, I'm not putting up with that. I've worked way too hard to get to where I am. Cramp right there. Gotta get some old electrolytes in me. Moving away gives you the chance to redefine yourself, build a new identity, and shed old labels. It's just like what I was talking about with the Joe Dispenza. And I think a cool activity for you to do right now, pause this and write down who do you want to become? And maybe you're in a stage where you actually already moved out of your hometown. But are you living and working towards the person that you want to be, or are you falling back into old habits and you're trying to show this hometown who you are? When I first moved to LA, I got stuck on the habit of I'm a Bostonian, I'm from New England. My accent got thicker as I just enjoyed people like reaffirming who I am, who I was from. And I wanted to stay true to that. And then I learned it's just like it's time to grow, man. Let go. Shed the skin. Shed the skin. Lean into this new version of yourself that you're becoming, that you're creating. We are creators. No one knows your history, only what you bring to the table now. Because in your current group, in your current friends, and what you have, they know who you are. It's why you're scared to take a leap of faith because they know what you're capable of, who you are. They've seen what you've done over the past 20, 30 years. Just like, okay, we're not expecting Ethan to go out and do this crazy thing. Or you go out and do the crazy thing and it's like, whoa, I expect him to do that. All my friends I grew up with, they know me as just like, dude, this dude takes action. This dude's nuts. Never know what Ethan's going to do. He's always making moves. I created that though through action. You can do it now. It's never too late. You can create the same thing through action. And in the beginning, they're going to try and pull you down. Fuck it. Fuck that voice. I just had a friend that moved to Florida from Rhode Island after being there for a while. I'm so fucking proud of him. And it's challenging for him right now. And I told him, it's like, dude, good, good, good. It's supposed to be challenging. Keep going, keep going, keep going. He's in my mastermind, and I'm so grateful that I'm being able to be a part of this journey for him because you need people that are going to push you to be great. Because you know what all his other friends are saying? Dude, you can always come home, man. You can always come home, right? You're always going to get that. especially from your parents. I love my family so much. They're such beautiful, but they want me around all the time. And I know that I cannot become my best version of myself while I'm around there. So like, oh, you're gonna come home, and you can come home if it doesn't work out. Is basically, to me, how I see it is they almost want you to fail because they want you to come home. And to me, that's like the biggest slap in the face ever. You become more adaptable and resilient. Leaving your hometown forces you to solve problems, figure things out, and become self-reliant. We talked about this through the stories of me first coming to LA, and these continue to happen more and more and more. I've gotten into houses with 4 or 5 people, and by the end of it, it was just me. Rent 6 grand. I had to figure that shit out. I learned not to trust certain people in certain aspects. I co-signed it on a Tesla for a dude. This dude, before I co-signed on the Tesla, I had the proof. He already I forget what it is when you don't pay your bill. And he already repoed a car before. So my dumbass was just in a high at the moment, was going through something. I was like, yeah, I'll co-sign for you. Terrible idea. And now the dude's not making the payments on the Tesla. So it's just like, but it's a lesson. You learn it. You think I'm ever going to co-sign on a Tesla for someone else again? No. You think if I stayed stuck in my hometown, I didn't have the ability to co-sign on a Tesla for someone? Probably not. It's all lessons. You can be grateful for the experiences. You learn to network, build relationships, and develop real world skills. And wow, like how incredibly viable and important these are, and especially in the world society that we're moving into. It's like the people with the highest emotional intelligence are going to continue to go up because AI is just going to take out a bunch of jobs. But people with strong emotional intelligence are going to continue to climb the ladder. It's just going to be easy for them. So when you build these new relationships, developing these skills, being adaptable is one of the strongest traits of successful people. Staying in one place for too long weakens the ability to be adaptable. Being a chameleon, being able to fall into an environment. I'm in Bogota, Colombia right now. I'm like a month in. I'm already getting really good at Spanish. Spanish speakers around me. I shouldn't say that too loud because they're like, dude, no, you're not. But in my eyes, I'm learning words that said, whoa, I've been trying to study this living in California. It didn't work out, but I just immersed myself in the environment. Has it been uncomfortable? Fuck yeah. Someone stole my AirPods today and I chased them down and got those motherfuckers back. That was awkward when I had Google Translate telling them I know you have my shit. But I got it back. It's just like learning these things and adapting to these environments is huge, 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 huge for your growth. And wow, this is huge. More opportunities exist outside of your hometown. Right now, it's just like, okay, I can go work at the Ford dealership. I heard they're playing pretty good. It's like, dude, that's the best thing you got in your hometown. There's so many amazing opportunities that you'll just find going out to eat by yourself, sitting at a bar. So, hey, what's going on, man? I'm Ethan. Oh, hey, Ethan. Hey, I really liked your energy, Ethan. We had a position open up, and I just think you'd be perfect for the role. Are you currently employed? Or are you looking for something? Oh, tell me about the position. Boom, just like that. Going to networking events and meeting people. It's just like, hey, I just moved here. Oh, you just moved here? Me too, bro. And boom, connection made. She's like, what do you do? I was just like, oh, I work in sales. Oh, bro, let's go. Sales is the highest paying job in the world. Let's go. I own a marketing firm, whatever. It's just like I pull in like 8 figures per year. It's, whoa, wouldn't see that in my hometown. Holy shit. Good to meet you, bro. How did you get to where you are? And you start asking questions. Never want to put people on a pedestal ahead of you. Just like start asking questions like, how did you get to the place you're at? And you learn this through more experiences. The world is so big and there's so many people doing things at a higher level than you, or people that are just enjoying life at a higher level. I love seeing that because it makes me know it's like, wow, I'm freaking living amazingly. I have like grace to God, grace to the universe. I have the best life ever. But I see people that are even doing it better and bigger. And I'm just like, I don't get jealous or envious by it. I'm like, wow, there's more depth to how beautiful this is. This is amazing. I wouldn't have this mindset if I stayed stuck at home. I would never have got this mindset. Most smaller mid-sized towns have limited career, business, and networking opportunities. It's just in my hometown of Rhode Island, it's so true. Even in the city, there's just not much going on in Providence. You have to go to bigger cities outside, and even that, it's just like you don't feel more compelled to do it. But when you move to like Los Angeles, you're like, whoa, I got to go to more events, more places because there's so much going on. Major industries and high level people are concentrated in specific cities. So you want to go where the action is. You need to put yourselves in rooms where people are already doing what you aspire to do. So maybe to you, it's not about like getting to a place where you can go make a bunch of money. Maybe you just want to be around people that do yoga retreats or something. That's awesome. Come see me in Colombia. I'll take you to the ayahuasca house where people are hosting retreats and living amazing, beautiful lives. There's so much out there, and it's so simple to get to what you want. The only thing that's holding you back is comfort and fear. Because really, it is so simple to get the life that you desire, and you could probably already have it. I have people tell me this all the time. It's like, Ethan, you're literally living the dream. I'm like, the dream's not that far away, my friend. You could start the dream that I'm living right now with not much capital. What is my dream? Oh, because I'm traveling the world. It's like, okay, find a job that pays you online, save up a decent amount of money, just a little neck, a little hole. You don't really need that at the end of the day. Message me. I'll share with you some tactics and tips. But just taking action is what's going to get you there. And most people are just scared to take action. So just do it. Just fucking do it. Like Phil Knight said, just do it. If you ever go back home too, when you move away, you'll just appreciate it so much more. I remember my first few years, I'd go back. It'd be so nice to see all the boys. We'd go out, we'd go partying, and just being so present with them was just awesome. Going out to dinners, and it'd be like a vacation when I went home, which was just a cool place to be. And everyone was living their lives, and they were so curious into what I was doing. You know, um, I don't like, I have no reason to talk bad about anybody I grew up with. And a lot of them I still love and I still communicate with. And when I go home, like, it's like things never change. And I don't ever want them to feel like I'm hating on them for this. Like, it's not their fault. If anything, I'd love if I could help them, if they feel like there's more for them in this world. But we all are on different paths. My path is to try and help others, but I'm not going to judge you for staying at home. By all means, if that's what brings you happiness, stay. Because I love going home to see you guys. When you have perspective, because distance gives you perspective, sometimes you don't realize how stuck you actually are right now until you leave. Well, I mean, what a profound thing right now that is to say, because you could be thinking, it's like, oh, I don't know, I feel good, like I got a good job. But do you have much perspective? Because you might feel like okay, but think back what I said earlier. Are you drinking yourself to sleep every Friday through Sunday? A little bit of distance gives you perspective because maybe the life that you're meant to live is out there. You just got to go find it, and that's going to where your ideal identity is. Your dharma. Your dharma is your ideal. It's what you're meant to be, what you're meant to achieve here. Let's say at the end of your life you die, and there's this mystical figure that greets you, and then there's you. But the you is the you that you were supposed to be while you were here. Are you going to look at that guy and say, hey, and be the same person? Or is that going to be completely different? You're not going to know until you go out and you try to find out what you're truly meant to be here. Because if you think you're meant to be here to have a 9 to 5 job, to have a white picket fence, and to die and not really accomplish much, that's not it. Maybe you're building a beautiful family. That's phenomenal. That's great. That's success. But if you're not feeling happiness and joy and you're raising kids because you feel like you need to because of society, like maybe you're doing them a disservice as well. Maybe they could be living such a more beautiful life with you setting an example for them. And if you move out, let's say you move out for a year and it just doesn't work out. If you return, it's on your terms with new skills, connections, and a confidence that, hey, at least I tried. Growth doesn't mean abandoning home forever. It means evolving behind it. Success requires movement, period. If your environment right now is holding you back, you need to change it. If your circle isn't challenging you, find a new circle. You can DM me or comment Dream State Mastermind, and we can hop on a call and see if the Dream State Mastermind circle, you'd be a good fit for us, and we'd be a good fit for you and getting into that group, because that group is a freaking powerhouse. If you're feeling stagnant right now, take it as a sign. It is time to move. It is time to take action and quit fucking putting it off. Do it now. Are you stuck? Have you outgrown your environment? What's holding you back from making the move? What is it? Do you have a fucking baby inside of you right now? Okay, that makes sense. Or you just continue to make excuses. Start planning, save the money, pick a place, start getting your reticular activating system in action, start planning things and just make it happen. If you stay where you are, nothing changes. If you leave, everything will change. All right, guys. Peace and love. I hope you enjoyed this episode today, episode 2 of the Dream State Livin podcast. Please, if you made it to the end here, like, comment your thoughts on this episode. The goal with podcasting, right? We're on episode 2, is to learn, to adapt, see what jives with people, what jives with you. What do you like? Did you like anything about this? Share it with me. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue to grow. We're as small as we'll ever be. And we will see you for the next episode. All right, guys. Peace and love.